So great. And thank you all very much for joining me in Istanbul, not Constantinople. Some of you may remember that song, that cheerful song. My name is Imran, and I am here in Istanbul, Turkey. And of course, this is not my home turf. I generally and normally live stream from my home, which is in Singapore. And Virginia, I'm not sure who it is. Can you hear the ferry in the background there? Because we are in Kadikoy, which is a very old neighborhood of Turkey. Let me put up a few images for you just to give you some context. So if you can see that image, what that does shows you is where Turkey is relative to the rest of the world. And you can also see that Istanbul is divided into two, essentially split by the Bosphorus, which is the body of water behind me. And where exactly are we? So this, I have pointed out Kadikoy, which is at the lower right of the map. Marhaba, Jenny. And I have also pointed out a few of the general landmarks that you have in Istanbul, which are well known, which are the Hagia Sophia, the Sultan Ahmed or the Blue Mosque, as well as the Topkapi Palace, I believe. So this is where we are. We're on the Asian side. Generally, tourists, travelers, visitors, they will come and they will stay at the European side. And so this is a little bit different. And let me start by showing you some of the things around the seaside. Now, of course, one of the great things about Hago and the platform, and all of you who have joined me, all of you who are back to see me on my channel, please, let's make this an interactive community session. So please keep sharing the information. I'm not an expert on many aspects of Istanbul, but what I'm going to show you are why I find this city and this country a really amazing place to visit all the time. So let me start by showing you a little bit, oops, of what we can see. So this is the old Kadikoy ferry terminal from the Ottoman period. The Ottoman Turks were the ones who established themselves in present-day Turkey. They took over Istanbul from the Orthodox Christians, Eastern Orthodox Christian Empire, in 1453 and have been here ever since. But of course, now we are in the Republic of Turkey, which is what was created 100 years ago, almost to the month, by Mustafa Kemal Atatürk. So thank you very much for that, Alison. Always kind of you. And I see that we have many people who are familiar with Istanbul. So maybe please chime in and share some of your experiences and information. Now up ahead, that building is the Heather Pasha Asian Side Railway Terminal. So the old Hijaz Railway, the railway that used to go all the way to Baghdad in Iraq, that would start from here. You can see all the seagulls flying around. Perhaps they think I'm going to be sharing some food with them. And then let's go a little bit to our left. And perhaps we might be able to even see the outline of the Hagia Sophia. So if you look to the right, to a little bit there, I think you can see it there with the minarets and it's a slightly reddish building. That is the Hagia Sophia. And we're looking at the European side here. We are not looking at it from very close, so perhaps it's not very clear. Uh, Kasaba, I hope I'm pronouncing your name properly. If you are referring to the Heather Pasha train station, I believe it is being restored because actually Turkey now has built a network of high speed railway links across the country, and that station is having its tracks upgraded for that high speed rail link. So let's start our walk. Yeah, those are seagulls, Tracy. And when we see them close, then they are much bigger than they look. In fact, they can even be a little bit scary. So if we're talking about old things, remember The Birds by Alfred Hitchcock, and you will see, you can think of birds like that. Now, in front of you, you can see what I believe is a Red Crescent truck because perhaps after the earthquake, they have made a call for blood donations. We spoke about we spoke about Ataturk or Mustafa Kemal, who created the republic in 1923, and here we have a statue of him. Uh, and I believe what he's doing is he is teaching some kids the new alphabet because one of the things that he did, he was known as a reformer as well, is that he changed the Ottoman language or the Turkish language script from the old Ottoman Arabic or Farsi or Persian script to a Latin script. And so overnight, it is said that people, most of Turks or most of the people here, they went illiterate because, of course, when you change the language, the written language, it's very difficult for people to be able to read it. The alphabet was changed. So a whole new generation had to be re-taught how to read and write. So up ahead in the darkness, it's not very clear, is the old Kadikoy municipal building from the early 1900s. Barry, did you feel the ground, Barry? No, actually, we didn't. I think we just slept right through it. I believe the tremors were felt as far away as Cyprus, but not over here. Thank you very much, Jenny. I'm so happy. Thank you all for joining me. And if you've just joined me, you will note that I am in Istanbul on the Asian side, in Kadikoy district, and we are seeing some of the sites here. I will take you into the bazaar. So this is the old. Thank you very much, Jenny. I'll actually, if you don't mind, have the Turk kahvesi over the chai. Turkish coffee, of course, is famous, and it's one of my favorite things over here as well. So this is the old municipal building of Kadikoy. You can see it is from the early 1900s and quite nice. Uh, Today, Kadikoy is a huge district, but I did have some data that I collected. So in the late 1800s, Kadikoy was a very mixed district, as was the entire Ottoman Empire. And what we're going to do is I'm going to walk at the time in the late 1800s, based on the census that was done by the Ottomans, plurality, which means that the largest number of residents were Muslims, but they were outnumbered by the non-Muslims. And most of the non-Muslims were members of the Armenian uh, Orthodox Church or the Greek Orthodox Church. Can you hear me now? I'm sorry, the speaker kind of came out. So there we go. Is that better? So hopefully that is a little bit better. I'm sorry about that. So what I was saying is that the Muslims were outnumbered by the non-Muslims here in Kadikoy in the late 1800s. Uh, there were about 4,000 Muslims based on that census. But the non-Muslims, who were primarily are members of the Armenian Church and the Greek Orthodox Church, as well as some Jews, as well as members of the Syrian Church. They also lived here and they outnumbered the Muslims. And as we walk into the Kadıköy Market, I will show you an Eastern Orthodox Church and an Armenian Orthodox Church, historic churches from the 1900s. So hopefully the sound is okay now. So when you see the Starbucks, you know that we're coming up to the bazaar, but don't get fooled. It is a very traditional bazaar inside. I'm not sure if I missed any comments or questions, but of course, if you do have any comments or questions, please. And I'm just waiting to cross the road here. And I'll give you a little bit of a pan as we wait. So the very traditional Turkish minarets, which are uh, kind of like a church steeple because they picked up a lot of their architectural designs from the Roman and Christian churches. The M is the sign for the metro, the subway. We do have a fairly expensive and extensive metro system in Istanbul. And it really has grown quite dramatically over the last 10, 15 years. And here we have a little tram coming as well. And the green man's here. So you can see the tram here. Let's give you a, in some of the neighborhoods, trams are very much available. You can see it started to rain now. I have protected my gimbal, which is why I can't give you a lot of shots that are vertical because I've covered up the gimbal. To almost snow. And one thing that you'll notice is that everything here is very much in the Turkish language. Okay, so it's really beginning to come down. And I'm going to head into the bazaar. Maybe we have a little bit of shelter in as we walk along. The famous Turkish simit or pretzels. These days they are going for approximately 6 Turkish liras for one simit. The exchange rate is approximately 20 Turkish liras for €1, or approximately maybe I think 17 or 18 liras for $1. Yeah, Pam, it's really, really terrible. But I did want to bring it to you, and hopefully you can see they really enjoy their sweets over here. We just wipe the camera as well. These are not very traditional, but we will come across. Okay, there you go, Jenny. Thank you very much. 29 lira to the sterling. Okay, and on this side, this is something that's a little bit more Turkish. The Turkish Delight. And this shop, or this confectioner, his name is Haji Bekir. You can see that on the name over there. If you talk to these shop proprietors, they will claim, and I don't know the veracity of the story, but they claim that it was Haji Bakir, this gentleman, who started the. No, this is these are Turkish delight baklava. I'm sure we'll come across some later. So they claim that Haji Bakir was the one who founded and started the Turkish delight. And this shop or this uh, entity, the shop, it started way back in the early 1700s. And that was when they introduced the Turkish delight to the Ottoman Sultan at the time. And symbolically, they put a cat here. Kadikoy cats are famous community cats, and Istanbul is a city full of cats. So, welcome everyone to a rainy and dreary day in Istanbul. My name is Imran, and I am streaming from Istanbul. Normally, I stream from Singapore, but uh, these days I'm in Turkey, and hopefully, I will bring you some more live tours, live streams from other parts of Turkey as I move around. Thank you very much, Hillary. And please feel free to follow me on my channel, Singapore Locally or Imran Ahmed. You can do a search for me. So this is the Kadikoy Market. Now, one thing that I should point out to you guys is, and ladies, is that Kadikoy is not really as touristy a place as the Sultan Ahmed or the area on the European side. And that means that this market is very much more of a local market. It's not a great day to be out shopping, but nevertheless. So here we have the Armenian church. You can see the church tower there. So this is a historic Armenian church. It is boarded up. They are used by the locals for prayer from time to time. But let's carry on with our, because really, other than this tower that I showed you and that I'm showing you, there's not too much. Thank you very much, Pam. Let me bring you here and show you some of the sweets as well. You can see they really, really like their sweets. Now, the church that we just saw, it was built in 1858, and it's called in Armenian Christ the King Church. Now, you can also see the prices there, 60 lira. So we are talking about approximately 3 euros at present exchange rates. So things are reasonable here. However, things have become a little bit expensive since the post-COVID period. So let's carry on a little bit further down. And this perhaps is where I could come and have my coffee later. Place like this. Now just give me a minute. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wipe the camera, so you might, because it is raining and wet, I just want to clean it. Zoom in on the donor here. Yeah, Don, lots of graffiti. And there are also lots of murals around here in Kadikoy compared to some of the other areas of Istanbul. Yes, I know McDonald's. So this is what we saw. Yeah, they do. They're everywhere. And the surprising thing about Istanbul, I've noticed, is that Burger King is almost as prominent as McDonald's, which is a little bit unusual. So let's continue our walk and look at some of these protruding windows and balconies. This will be old Ottoman architecture as well. I agree, Jenny. Well, the rain has slowed down a little. Oh, talk about Burger King. There we have it. So, for those of you who have just joined me, my name is Imran, and we are walking around the Kadikoy district of Istanbul, which is on the Asian side. And all right, so we'll walk back and up. Any comments about what you're seeing? Some of you I know are regular visitors here. Have you been to Kadikoy? Those of you who have been to Istanbul, to Turkey, and I'm sure you choose a different time to come, perhaps not the winter. Jazz, yes, I am. I'm on vacation, and I'm going to be spending quite a few weeks here in in Turkey. From here, I'm going to be going into the heartlands of Anatolia, the Anatolian Peninsula, which is where most of Turkey is comprised of. So I move from here to Kayseri via Ankara, and I will be taking the train. Jenny, oh, okay, well, maybe next time you'll have a chance to stay here. Erica, no, the Grand Bazaar is on the European side, as is the Spice Bazaar, as well as many other Ottoman monuments. Let me see, there was another. Yes, that's right. Ankara does have a fantastic museum. I think you might be referring to the one near the castle. And let's see. Pam, you're very lucky, but coming from Singapore, actually the cold is a nice, pleasant change for me. Fethiye, I'm not sure, Jenny, to be honest. I am not sure. So let's carry up here. We can see some more traditional items. Now, the train from here to Ankara, excuse me, is a high-speed train. However, when I get to Ankara, I will stay overnight, and then we'll get onto a traditional, I shouldn't say traditional, an old-fashioned train, with a diesel locomotive, and it will take us about 7 hours to get to Kayseri. So some of the fish from the local catch. It is by the high-speed train. It's about 4 hours to Ankara. The high-speed train. Then you can also take it to various other cities like Konya, Eskişehir, etc. Jazz, it would be, but to be honest, I'm not sure about the data quality. But it's certainly something I will be considering. And something that is very popular in Turkey for people to buy is also the soap. And people mentioned baklava. This is not fresh, but it's still baklava. Whoops, the soap is very, very good here. I can vouch for it. A lot of it is made in the traditional old fashioned way. And you can see winter tea. It is winter. And yes, nuts, Lori, their nuts are wonderful. They're not as cheap as I remember them from before the pandemic, but certainly. And just if you don't mind, I'm going to just clean the camera once again because of the rain. So give me a second. Hopefully that will be better. Coffee. We have quite a number of coffee roasters in this Kadikoy region. Great. And the nuts. I'm not entering the shop in case. Dates. Okay, if I do. Thank you. Great. So some dates. Figs. And those of you who are new to my channel, my name is Imran. Please do consider following me. I am now doing a live stream from Istanbul, from Kadikoy. And I'm inside a shop that's selling some fresh produce like teas, nuts, spices. Thank you. I'm glad, Jenny. Thank you very much. I hope you're going to join me for some of my other live streams. Hopefully, I will be doing some more from here in Turkey as I move around. And then, of course, when I get back to Singapore, the circular lights that you see, those are the lights at the top. I hope that's not disturbing you, but excuse me. I like this dried fruit stuff as well. I have found that because I don't speak any Turkish, Google Translate is a great help. So even just translating these signs here to know what these things are when they don't have it in English. In some places, of course, like here with the sunflower seed. You can see it's in English, but more often than not, most things are not in English and everything is in Turkish. That can be a little bit of a limiting factor for travels. Erica, yes, when I come, when we finish our travels in interior Turkey, then I will be coming back to Istanbul maybe for a week or 10 days before I head back to Singapore. And I hope to be able to do a few live tours from Istanbul again. And I'm hoping to do Istiklal Street and Taksim Square, and hopefully the Spice Bazaar as well. So please stay tuned for those. Barry, you're asking about a subway connecting the Bosphorus. Yes, there are three ways now that you can go across from one side to the other, from Europe to Asia or vice versa. There is an underground subway connection, which is very convenient. Of course, you don't get the views or the sights that one gets when you take the ferry. We started this tour, this live stream at the ferry station, and those ferries will go across to other parts of Asia, other neighborhoods, as well as to the European side. And they're very convenient. And of course, the third way is simply by vehicle, by bus, private car, so on. Thank you very much, Erica. Very kind of you. It's always helpful to receive tips. It helps cover the costs and makes it worthwhile for me, because to be honest, today was such a terrible day. About half an hour before I started, that I considered that maybe we should cancel, because it was raining and pouring, and it was so windy that I couldn't manage the umbrella even. But it's much better now, and I'm grateful for that. And thank you all for joining me today. Olives, thank you, Erica. Uh, I try. These colorful olives here. Ah, wonderful. I love them too. And you get such a great selection of turkey, as well as cheeses and meats. Oh, Jenny, well, you'll have to maybe focus on some of the baked stuff, because across from that shop we have the local bakery. So you can see he is making the fresh baklava. And the bread here also, the freshly baked bread, I do enjoy that. More sweet stuff for those with a sweet tooth. Some traditional rice pudding as well. Yeah, the bread is wonderful, the fresh bread. And sometimes you walk into these little bakeries and literally the bread is coming out of the oven. You can see them pull it out. And this should also tell you that we are in a very local traditional market, because we've got the vegetables and the fruits here. And the fruits here in Turkey are really wonderful. They're seasonal most of the time, unless, of course, you get them from the supermarket. But otherwise, because they're fresh, mostly locally grown. And I'm gonna try and sneak into this shop. Hopefully, the shopkeeper will not be upset because I do. Let's see some of these things. Show you some of these things here. What is in the rice pudding? On the top that you saw, the dark bit, that was, is it okay? Thank you. On the top, that was a little bit of something burnt. And so you can see some of this stuff here. It is really, really very appetizing, some of it. Why not, Jazz? I think at one stage, some stage, Hago will allow us to deliver stuff to you. Why not? That would be wonderful. And some of the cheeses. These are all locally produced cheeses. There's a city that is right on the border with Georgia called Kars, and that city is very well known for its cheeses. And those of you who might want to travel here, there is a and enjoy traveling by train. There is a train service from Ankara to Kars that takes 23 hours. So you can get yourself a sleeper. Yeah, Allison, there you go. So you agree with what I'm saying. The cheeses and the honey, absolutely. Did you take the train across the Doğu Express, which takes 23 hours from Ankara on the sleeper? I'm a train fanatic, so whenever I can take the train, I will take the train. The cheese is a mixture of cow and sheep and goat. So you can see many of these are going to be from cow's milk, but there's a lot of goat's cheese. Wow, the Trans-Siberian Express, that's something that I'd love to do. You should host your own session on that, Allison. That's something I would join in a heartbeat. And check out these cheese sizes. Just for your information, that's my hand. So the size, look at how big. It must have been worth it, Allison. 3 months traveling by train across a couple of continents. I'm sure you enjoyed it. Okay, so we are out and back into into the lane, and we're back in the rain as well. You can see many of the shops have covered up their produce. Now, it's not unusual, and it's beginning to snow a little, not unusual to find shops from the 1900s, from the 1800s as well. So this is, uh, I guess, a pickles. They're selling a lot of pickles and also olives over here. We had at least one voyager who's into olives, so let's give a glimpse of the olives again. And I do want to show you one thing that this shop is selling, which is this thing called Boza. Boza, although it is a drink, I don't know if any of you, those of you who are familiar with Turkey, it's a drink that is almost like a pudding, and it is a slightly alcoholic drink. So it has about a few percent alcohol, which is unusual because Turkey, of course, is primarily a Muslim country, but for some reason, it's that little bit of alcohol content is almost ignored. And there was a group of soldiers who fought for the Ottoman Sultan called the Janissaries. If you any of you are familiar with the Ottoman history, you'll know that the Janissaries were the crack troops of the Ottoman Sultan, and many of them indeed were children who were taken away from their families at a very young age and then put through rigorous training. The Janissaries were well known to drink boza, this drink that I'm talking about, before going into battle. Now, how about those purple olives? Mersinli, which I assume means they're from the town of Mersin, near where the ferries to Turkish Cyprus take off. And we'll get to some of you might be able to see the fish being sold up ahead, fish and even vegetables. Of course, all this will be fresh fish caught probably not very far away from here. It's beginning to rain a little bit harder. And the markets in Turkey, that based on the experience that I've had, they are generally very, very clean, uh, and the hygiene standards are good. And of course, another resident of Kadikoy, we have lots of dogs and lots of cats, and they are generally left alone. So even when they enter shops or premises like that, no one really says anything to them. And it is cold, so why not? Why not go into a shop and warm yourself up a little while waiting for a snack? Yes, Fles, thank you very much. You're right. So we'll carry on. It is raining a bit hard now, but it's okay. We can manage. The baklava and lokum. Look at the colors and look at the presentation. Now these things here, they remind me of the churros, and I have to really do some research to find out whether they went from here to Spain or they came from Spain to here. So good. I hope that people are enjoying this walkabout Kadikoy on the Asian side of Istanbul. My name is Imran, and I am streaming to you live from Istanbul. More Turkish delights. Oops, excuse me. Yeah, let's take another quick look at the pickles again. And you tell me what is being pickled, really. Your guess in some of these things is as good as mine. The locum, Jazz, you're asking, let me give you another look as I just walk back. Hopefully, the wind is not going to affect the. So, these here, these are the different types of locum, dessert basically. And then this drink here is called ayran. Some of you who are familiar with Turkey, you're probably familiar with ayran as well. Ayran is essentially a kind of a buttermilk, and it's salty. It's not sweet, it's salty. So I've been circling around in all these shops for a while that I'm beginning to get lost myself. I think so. People, tell me, how did you the walk around Kadikoy so far? I think we've very much done the markets and coming up to the near the end of our live stream. I'm going to take you out of the bazaar here and show you a little bit of some of the food that is being cooked. Thank you, Erica. So some of the fish that is being made, fish burgers are big here, and these fishes are normally caught right around the corner where we started our tour. So the balik ekmek or the fish burger. Look at the price, 35 liras, which is maybe around 1.5 sterling. Or yeah, it is Fliss. I enjoy it myself. And so we've come basically out of the bazaar onto one of the side streets of Kadikoy. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me today. My name is Imran, and I hope to bring you more tours from Turkey as we move around the country. It's a beautiful country. I have fallen in love with it and with the people. And although I can't give you the level of detail that I would like to, uh, at least we can share some information and some of the experiences. And thank you very much for joining me on what has been somewhat of a difficult day with all the rain and even a little bit of snow now and then and the breeze. But I have to say that during the tour, the weather held up okay, and my equipment, which is more important and more valuable than me, has been kept relatively dry. So thank you very much for joining me, and thank you those of you who have provided me a tip. Please remember to follow me on my channel, and you'll get notified of more of these live streams. So thank you and bye bye from Istanbul. Have a great day, everyone. All right. Bye bye.